What are you holding on to? Regret, anger, betrayal, family feud, broken heart, something you just can't let go? I know. It happens, and it's okay, it's human. We're going to talk about what keeps us holding on and get those things out of the way and off our backs. And if you make it all the way to the end, I'm going to go there and share with you what I do to mend a broken heart. One of the hardest things to let go. My name is Aubrey Lynch, and from Alvin Ailey to the Lion King, I have helped thousands of people shed their baggage, face the pain of rejection, and break through the psychological barriers that have held them back. I want to share some of these things with you. Yeah, let's go. It's hard to let go. There are experiences, memories, things in our lives that hold us down and cling to us like wet blankets, smothering us with memories and pain, regret, betrayal, all of the things we hold on to. We're going to talk about how to let that stuff go. Here are some steps that can help with emotional release. The power of non-attachment. Heard that before? Non-attachment. I could do a whole series on it, and maybe at some point I will. But for the purposes of this video, non-attachment is a state of being where people are not fixated or attached to things, people, situations, or ideas. Easy to say, easy to talk about, and often very challenging to do. It's about being with your current circumstances, walking with your circumstances, and accepting life as it comes. Consider letting go of rigid expectations, specific outcomes, as these set you up for the kind of disappointment and pain that can stick. Non-attachment is about finding peace and fulfillment with just being, and finding alignment with one's true self. As always, acknowledge your emotions. They're real, they happen, you're gonna feel them. Don't judge yourself for being human. We're emotional creatures. Avoiding emotions leads for them to build up like a volcano, and they come out in unexpected and unfortunate ways. Labeling your emotions can reduce their power. We are not our emotions. We are emotional. We have emotions. They're a part of us. If you separate yourself, I am noticing anxiety. I am observing sadness. There is fear. Those things are a part of us. They're not who we are. And when we name them as parts and not the core of who we are, which is pure love, we reduce their power. And we can purposely move forward, knowing they're there, not suppressing them, not avoiding them, but acknowledging them as part of who we are, but not the core of who we are. The moment you say, I notice, it's not you. It's separate. Make that your habit as opposed to ruminating with those voices. Keep it over there. Understand the source. If you stop and reflect, you'll be able to determine, is the incident the problem, or is this a trigger of something that happened way back in my past? For example, when someone says something to you that puts you off and you get that fire, that burning inside of yourself, and you just want to explode with anger, that's a sign that it's not really about that person. That person is sparking something in you, triggering something in you that's from your past. Once you trace it back, you'll be able to recognize that before it happens. You can let it go much more easily. I hope that makes sense. You're not going to do that right in the moment. As you reflect later, you can say, what was really going on there? I really had a reaction that was really not necessarily logical or not necessarily in balance with what was really happening. And quite often in my case, I can go right back to my family. I know exactly why I'm reacting. It harkens back to some of the things I've been through. And I'm doing the best I can to unpack them and work through them, which is why I'm talking to you now about this very thing. Practice forgiveness, and especially forgiveness of yourself. Holding on to past grudges drains your mental well-being, drains your physical well-being, and can really hold you back and hold you down. Forgiveness is for your benefit, not theirs. And forgiveness doesn't mean condoning the action. It doesn't mean that what happened was right or good or healthy for either of you or for the situation or for the people involved. Forgiveness is just about letting go of what you're feeling, understanding that you had a human experience with someone or something. You are offering forgiveness out of sake of healing and letting go of your emotions. Practice self-compassion by saying, I release this for the sake of my peace of mind. You can't move on emotionally if you're holding on to guilt, shame, regret, the things that really, really ruminate and hold us back. You can't move forward emotionally unless you forgive yourself, forgive others, and try to move forward. Acknowledge your mistakes and commit to learning from them. Let go of control. Emotional attachment often stems from the need to control. Ask yourself, what can I actually control and what can't I control? Life's unpredictability can be a major source of stress. Living with that uncertainty and living with that this daily this is part of letting go of that control. Live in the present. Be in the now. Focusing on the present moment doesn't necessarily change the circumstance. It changes our perception of the circumstance, which is what life is all about. It's about how we perceive the world. It's not always what's actually happening. Regret and sadness is the past. Anxiety and fear is the future. Love is the now. We are love. Be in the love. Be in the now. Do what it takes to stay in the now. Mindfulness practices, breathing, meditation, yoga, Pilates, the things that get you in your body so that when you are managing the rumination of our emotions, we are able to separate them from us and be in the now, be in the present. Each time your mind wanders to the future or the past, bring it on back to the now, because the now is all that really matters. And gratitude for the present moment, that really helps too. Be thankful for whatever is in front of you right now. I am thankful for being able to record this for you. Whatever's happening tomorrow, what happened yesterday, doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm saying to you right now. When I'm grateful for that, the rest of it kind of diffuses all the stuff around me. And there's a lot going on all the time. There's a lot going on today, as a matter of fact, in the world. And I can't control that. All I control is this. Get in the now. Embrace acceptance. This is the tough one because some things have no closure. Some things are just unfinished. Some things you're not going to know the answers to. You can't. Loops are not going to be closed, and we've got to find peace in that. I think we want closure. I've always wanted closure. I think that's probably one of my core values. I need closure. I want closure. There are a lot of times where I could not get closure. There are a lot of things that happened that I can live through right now and remember for which there was no closure. And I had to be okay with that. It's not been easy. I can really conjure up frustration and aggravation and disappointment and pain and sorrow and anger. I can bring it right back. And yet I found over time a way to embrace acceptance that some things will have no closure. And that accepting has to be the closure. When you can do that, you are really dealing with a high level of emotional intelligence. I wish the world would try harder at this because some of the things that are happening just cannot be fixed. We have to leave that and move forward and try to do better in the future. There's no going back to fix some of the stuff that's gone on. And when it comes to people and their complications and our stuff, it's even harder. So I really wish for you the ability to sit back and accept the things that have happened. It doesn't mean you condone them. It doesn't mean that you agree with them or approve of them. It means that they happen and there's no closure. And when you can accept that peace, it makes the weight of those emotions much lighter to bear. And my go-to, seek professional help. There are people that are trained to listen, trained to hear, help you unpack, help you identify, help you separate yourself from the junk and get back in touch with the love and life that you are. I highly recommend that everyone do this. There are programs. It's often affordable, even without insurance. Don't let that stop you. Try to find someone who understands emotional regulation and can help you deal with whatever's going on. It really makes the difference and it's changed my life. They've given me tools to manage life's dramas, and these are the same tools I'm offering you. I'm not a therapist. I'm not trained by that by any stretch, but I have worked through these items in my life as a professional artist, in my life as a producer, and in life as a choreographer and director, and navigating all these personalities. And to do that, it required a lot of emotional regulation. I failed at this many times, but in my failure, and again, I don't really believe in failure, I believe in learning, I learned to do better. I always try to do better, and I think I've really gotten good at managing that stuff now where I wasn't before. I wasn't. I'm better now. Hire someone to have a cry with, to have a good old-fashioned ugly cry. Let it out, release it, and keep it moving. Let's go over some of the things we can do when it's time to let emotions go. Non-attachment, acknowledging your emotions, understanding the source, practice forgiveness, let go of control, live in the present, seek professional help, and embrace acceptance. And now for the bonus I promised you about what I do to mend a broken heart. It's one of the heaviest we can carry. There's the death of a loved one, the loss of a job, and the loss of a partner. I was talking to my therapist many years ago, and she said to me, you have to mourn the death of the fantasy that was never meant to be. Mourn the death of what you wanted it to be. Mourn the death of what was never going to happen. And that really resonated with me. Go through the grieving process of what it never was. You can glamorize it and think about all the good things that happened and paint this pretty rosy picture. What about all the other crap that went on at the same time? What about the things that happened that were not good, that were crossing the boundaries, that were violating you emotionally? The person was never the person you thought that they were. And maybe they were at first and you neglected to notice the rest of it. As you got to know each other, you evolved and changed, whatever the case may be. At some point, it was not healthy for either of you. If you glamorize all the pieces that were good and beautiful and fabulous, you're gonna be back in that space that wasn't real. That's part of it too. The things that did not work, things that were not compatible, the things that were not healthy necessarily. There's a TED Talk video that I'm going to put in the description. I can't think of his name at the moment right now. You have to watch this video. What he's talking about is the breakup of love is like getting over an addiction. When you are, and I'm going to paraphrase and mess this up, so you got to watch the video, but basically what he's saying is that if you start playing the movies of the good things, you're getting your fix, your hit of this drug, the fantasy of what never was. You have to remove yourself from the temptation, from the lure and seduction of all of those pretty fun dopamine hits. That is not the reality. You're not going to have that. That is over. It's gone. It's done. And the longer you think about it, the longer it's going to weigh heavy on you. When you can say, I'm going to remove myself from the addiction, the moment you can do that, you're free. You're free. It doesn't change what happened. It doesn't make the memories go away. It doesn't help the betrayal and the emotional violation, the things that could have happened. But it does put in perspective for you to move on with your life. Mourn the death of the fantasy that was never going to happen. It was not real. It's what you wanted it to be. It wasn't going to work, and it didn't work. You may have tried. It may have worked for a while. It's gone. And you have to let that go. I don't mean to be harsh or hard. I know it's difficult because believe me, I've had my share of this, and I'm sorry when I was the perpetrator in those situations, when I was the one that had to be forgiven. I really am sorry. You know, we're young and we do things that we regret. We have to move on. You have to mourn the death of the fantasy. And as this man is saying, remove yourself from the addiction and you will be free. Knowing yourself and personal growth is not easy, but it's beautiful. It's amazing, and it can really give you the life that you want. And even if you don't get the life that you really want, it helps you accept the life that you have. And when you start to wander to the future, the past, left, right, wherever, get back in the present. Be grateful for this very moment that we're alive before you. Like I do right now with these videos. I am grateful for this right now. I'm grateful for talking to you on this camera so that you will have a moment of self-reflection and may have a deeper understanding of yourself, or at least go on the journey of self-discovery. It's beautiful and amazing and scary and horrible and painful, and we are all better for it every time we do it. Each person impacts the collective consciousness when they reflect on themselves, and maybe we can shift the balance of the craziness happening in the world, the shenanigans, the absolute shenanigans that are happening, and come back to a place where it's safe to go outside and be ourselves. We are one tribe, one people, one planet. We all understand love and fear and pain and sorrow and achievement and celebration and respect. Let's give that to each other. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Every day, all day, and this other stuff will dissipate. I believe this. Rather than listen to all the messages and craziness and the likes and subscribes of all that negativity that we're selling and making millions and billions and trillions, I want to share this. I want to share love and light and the love of wisdom and self-reflection. If you like this sort of video, please check out these.